Welcome to the new HOPWA Consolidated APR CAPER e-tutorial, Provider Performance Report Overview. This video is for all organizations who directly provided any HOPWA-eligible activities to recipients during the HOPWA reporting year. All providers will need to complete a Provider Performance Report workbook. If you are a grantee who did not provide direct services, you will not need to complete the workbook discussed. However, we suggest such grantees watch this video as well to better understand the forms that their project sponsors will be completing. This video will briefly review the workbook distribution process. Then it will demonstrate how to complete all introductory and mandatory tabs in the Provider Performance Report. For information on completing activity-specific tabs within this workbook, completing the Grantee Performance Report workbook, or for more information on the new HOPWA reporting process generally, please reference the other videos in this e-tutorial series. Now, let's get started. Receiving the form. If you are a grantee, you will receive an email from HUD containing all the customized Excel-based Provider Performance Report workbooks needed for your consolidated APR CAPER submission. If you are a project sponsor, you will receive instructions and your provider workbook from your grantee. Contact your grantee with any questions on the process or timeline for completion of this workbook. Housekeeping notes. Before we walk through mandatory tabs, let's go over the housekeeping notes regarding this workbook. Be sure to only open, complete, and submit the workbook in Excel. Do not save or submit the workbook in any other format such as PDF or Word. The numbers in the workbook file name must remain unchanged as they contain unique identifiers used to process the workbook. If you need to save the workbook with a different name, please only add to the end of the file name, but before the .xlsx suffix. When completing each tab, enter text in text fields and numbers in number fields only. Now, let's look at the introductory and mandatory workbook tabs. When you open your customized Provider Performance Report, you will see 18 tabs, including the Report Cover and Instructions tab. This may seem like a lot, but it is very likely that you will not have to fill out a number of these tabs. Performance Report Cover tab. This tab has information on the reporting burden, the purpose of the form, submission requirements, and definitions. Instructions tab. Read over this tab and refer to it as often as you need for written guidance on completing and submitting this workbook. Identification tab. This tab lists your organization's name and a unique identifying number tied to it. Be sure to review for accuracy. If information is out of date or spelled incorrectly, email hopwareports@hud.gov. Do not attempt to change the information directly. Doing so could affect the processing of your report. Let's now look at the tabs that are required to be reviewed and completed, if applicable, by all HOPWA direct service providers, regardless of the type of HOPWA activity they provided. If you are a HOPWA project sponsor, keep watching to the end of this e-tutorial for notes on completing the Provider and Contact tabs. These two tabs are required for project sponsors. The activity-specific tabs should only be completed based on HOPWA services provided. Demographics and Prior Living Situation tab. This is a required tab that must be completed by all HOPWA direct service providers. On this tab, you will report on age, race, and gender for all individuals served with any type of HOPWA assistance. This is a change from previous HOPWA annual reports that did not ask for demographics on individuals served with supportive services and housing information services. The other two ways this demographic information differs from previous HOPWA APRs and CAPERs are 1. gender categories have been expanded to include gender non-binary and gender non-disclosed options. 2. The age and gender and race charts have been collapsed into a single age, gender, and race chart. In this new age, gender, and race chart, race categories are listed vertically on the left of the chart. Gender and age are listed across the top. Keep scrolling to the right of the tab to see additional gender categories and the ethnicity question. Totals will be auto-generated and displayed directly below the age, race, and gender chart. Note that the beneficiary total indicates a data check. The sum of row 29 and 30 should equal the pre-populated beneficiary total in row 28. At the bottom of this tab, report on the prior living situation for all HOPWA eligible individuals served with HOPWA tenant-based rental assistance, facility-based housing, and permanent housing placement. Note, prior living situation is no longer reported for eligible individuals served with short-term rent, mortgage, and utility assistance as in previous HOPWA annual reporting forms. Row 49 will display a pre-populated bolded subtotal that indicates the HOPWA eligible individuals coming from a homeless living situation as defined in rows 34 through 36 of this chart. Use row 49 as a data check when answering the questions in rows 50 and 51. Neither of these rows can exceed the subtotal in row 49. Leveraging and HOPWA program income. This is a required tab that must be reviewed by all HOPWA direct service providers. If your organization had any HOPWA leveraging or program income during the reporting period, this must be reported. On this tab, report all leveraging sources used to support your HOPWA program during the year. As a reminder, leveraging refers to any cash or non-HOPWA in-kind federal, state, local, or private resources identified and used to support the HOPWA client population. The most common types of leveraging are pre-populated on the tab. If your program used sources not listed, complete the other types of funding rows. Be sure to answer the yes or no question in the right-hand column. Answer all questions related to program income at the bottom of this tab. Access to Care and Totals tab. This is a required tab that must be reviewed by all HOPWA direct service providers. All applicable questions must be completed. The Activity Review row across the top of this tab will autofill with household totals served by each HOPWA activity, as reported on each activity tab. If any household totals look incorrect, go back and correct the specific activity tab. The total number of households served with housing subsidy assistance will also autosum and display in row 4. Please review this total for accuracy. If there were any households that received more than one type of housing subsidy assistance, for instance, TBRA and PHP, please list them in the deduplication row, row 5. Row 6 will then autosum to display your total number of unduplicated households served with housing subsidy assistance. Answer the Access to Care questions for all unduplicated households served with housing subsidy assistance as identified in row 6. If your organization provided HOPWA-funded supportive services and housing subsidy assistance, answer the 2 questions at the bottom of the tab. Note, if your organization provided only supportive services, the only action you will take on this tab is to confirm the total in the chart titled Activity Review, located at the very top row of the tab. Now that we've looked at the 3 mandatory tabs for all providers, let's go back to the HOPWA provider and contact tabs. These tabs are mandatory for all project sponsor organizations. For grantees, similar information is collected through the Grantee Performance Report workbook, so you can skip this tab. However, if you are a grantee that provided resource identification or technical assistance activities, report expenditures for those activities on the HOPWA Provider tab. Provider Information tab. This tab is required for all project sponsors. On this tab, complete all fields in column B with information on your organization. Contact Information tab. This tab is required for all project sponsors. Complete all fields in column B that are relevant for your organization. For additional details and instructions on how to complete the Provider Performance Report, reference the HOPWA Consolidated APR CAPER User Manual. If viewers have any questions on the new Consolidated APR CAPER or submission process, they should submit questions to their grantee or the HOPWA Ask a Question AAQ desk. Thank you for watching.